I am here at the Grenada Lake Visitor Center on a beautiful day, little overcast, and I have the honor of interviewing Patrick Stone.
Hey guys.
Patrick, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Hey man, it's a pleasure to be here in your presence. Big fan of not only the tackle company, Grenada Lake Tackle Company,
right,
but also your fishing talents as well.
Thank you.
And you have a pretty good guide service, am I correct?
Yeah, we run a lot of trips, catch a lot of fish every year.
How many people do you have working for you?
Oh, I just work with myself.
Just a solo proprietor.
Just a solo deal. You know, I got a few buddies that, you know, if we have a bigger group or whatever, that I call on to help. But yeah, I don't run multiple boats.
And the beauty of Mississippi is you can fish for crappie nearly every day of the year.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Real close to it. You know, they draw our lakes down in the winter, makes it a little more difficult, but yeah, you can fish for them most of the time.
Yeah, in Kansas, sometimes we get a little freeze up there,
and
then we got to just sit there and watch stupid YouTube videos like this.
Right.
But so this isn't really going to be a stupid YouTube video. It's actually a pretty serious topic that I'd like to talk to you about today, because every time that I'm in this area, and sometimes even in Arkansas, when I get to interview these professional fishermen, they bring up a topic or a title, Crappie Forever, which I see you got on your shirt.
Right.
Can you give me a little breakdown about what Crappie Forever is all about, the goals, and kind of the overall idea of how this started? Because it's, for what I know, it's a pretty amazing organization.
Yeah. So first, you know, I'm not an owner of Crappie Forever. Gabe Sewell and Daniel White started Crappie Forever on their own, and you know, I saw what they were doing, and I just wanted to be involved. They're a non-profit that, you know, they sell apparel, hats, t-shirts, hoodies, whatever, but they're using all of the profits to go back into conservation of crappie, whether it be, you know, helping with weigh-ins at tournaments to release those fish alive. Now of course, everybody knows we're doing the tagging program with, you know, rewards if you releasing the fish and send it to them. And that's kind of where I came in, because I've been tagging fish here at Grenada for several years, and was putting that info out, and they contacted me and just wanted to, you know, get my thoughts on getting more fish tagged, the larger fish that we want to let go tagged, and starting a reward program. And you know, I was all in. I was one of the first ones that started helping them tag. And,
perfect fit.
I mean, I was already tagging, you know, so they bought some tags with, you know, the money that they made off of t-shirts and apparel, and we started tagging them. And you know, we just got to get the word out to everybody, so they know there's a difference between, you know, that tag and anybody else's tag that's out there, as far as the rewards and what we're actually trying to do. You know, their tags, you know, we tag the larger fish, 15 inches or 2 pounds, you know, or both. And whereas my tags, I'm doing more research on growth rates and you know, how many fish are actually getting harvested.
You're gathering information that helps you're gathering information that basically lets us understand the species even better.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And we're learning a lot about, you know, how they travel, how they move, how long they live, stuff like that from both tagging programs. But you know, the biggest thing that I've seen on the Patrick Stone fishing tagging is that once these fish get to, you know, 14 and a half inches, man, that growth rate slows way down.
Really?
You know, and that's, you know, at Grenada Lake, that's, you know, arguably got the biggest fish anywhere.
Right.
Crappie wise, but you know, that tells me that, so it takes, you know, 3 or 4 years for it to get there, and then another, you know, 2 or 3 or 4 years to get into trophy class. So, you know, from that size up are the ones that we really want to protect.
Yeah.
You know, if we can protect those fish, then we can sustain a trophy population of fish.
Because they have the genetics.
Right.
Is that correct?
That's right.
It's so funny that you said 7 years would be like a 14-inch crappie, because B&M has those checkers.
Right.
And on the checkers, it has a couple of neat features on it. They're pink, but you can actually, fizz a crappie.
Yeah.
It has a little area you can do that, but it also has the size in conjunction to the age.
Right.
And when you get into a 15, 16-inch crappie, they have a 9 and 10-year mark on those. And so when I catch those fish, you know, I understand that they are trophies, and heck, I feel a little guilty that I would,
Right.
you know, harvest something 9 or 10 years old.
That's right. You know, and where I go with it is nobody's eating 9 and 10 pound bass.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, nobody does that anymore.
Right.
They did back in the 50s and 60s, and the bass conservation, you know, came about. So, and that's kind of where we're at, is we're trying to start the crappie conservation on the larger fish. You know,
Right.
they're delicious. You know, you can't quit keeping crappie. Number one, you wouldn't want to keeping crappie all together, because they'd get overpopulated, because they do spawn so prolifically. But
Yeah.
there is you know, we've seen it in smaller lakes, you know, across the South, you know, in the last few years. You can hurt the big fish population in the lake. I mean, that's a fact.
And the new forward-facing sonar technology
Yeah.
kind of allows people to target that exact species and that exact size, the big ones for
does.
tournaments and stuff.
It does. It absolutely does. You know, there's a lot of factors that go into whether you have a trophy size class of fish in a lake. You know, here the water levels and the spawns make a big difference. You know, this year compared to last year, you know, yeah, we still caught a bunch of trophy fish, but nothing like we did last year. But if you look back, you know, 5, 6, 7 years ago, we had low water for that spawn, and those fry didn't make it. You know,
Right.
if they've got nothing to hide around, then they're not going to, you know, they're going to get eaten.
Yeah.
So there's all lakes cycle, regardless of forward-facing sonar, live scope, whatever.
Right.
But it certainly doesn't help.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
If you can go out, and, you know, Grenada Lake's 15 fish per person. If you can go out and catch 15 2-pounders instead of what you used to catch, you know, 2 or 3, along with some 12, 13, 14-inch ones, you know, it makes a difference in the long run, for
Right.
sure, I think.
And I think that, you know, when I say that the forward-facing sonar lets you target those big fish, I think it also gives good fishermen a sense of confidence where they're not hoarding fish. Would you agree?
Right, I think so. The thing that I see is the people that first learned the live scope and they've not really fished a lot before live scope, or if they did and didn't catch very many fish before live scope, it's like, I don't know, a crappie, you know, they don't know they can throw them back.
Right.
You know, it's, you know, we're going to fill this freezer up.
That's right.
You know?
That's how I used to be.
But whenever people start thinking about it, why do I need to fill this freezer up when I'm going to fish every weekend, and
I can catch them fresh.
Keep me a bag or two in case it rains a couple weekends. And
Yeah.
I'll still have some fish, and, you know, throw the rest of them back, because you can catch way more than you can use now.
Yeah.
I see it. You know, back when we were guiding in the spider rig and longlining days, you know, we had to hit all these lakes just back and forth, whichever one was hot, whichever one wasn't muddy.
Yeah.
You know, to be able to catch the fish. And now, you know, if you drop it right on his nose, I mean, chances are he's going to bite it. So you just pick a lake and you stay there a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So, you know, and that adds some pressure, you know, to different places, takes some away from different places. But,
Right. I think a smaller crappie tastes better anyway. What about you?
I certainly do.
You do?
I like to go somewhere where you can keep them smaller than here to keep mine.
Yeah, yeah. And then, you know, like, I think, like I said, you know, when it becomes second nature that you can do something, you don't really, like I said, you know, focus on doing that thing as much, like when you said hoarding crappie. Like I fished with Joey Ferguson and John Harrison today, and they caught some dandies, and we took a few pictures and we threw them back for the good of the lake and for the good of the crappie themselves, of course, because they don't want to swim in grease.
Right.
But it gives the opportunity for other people to not only have a chance of catching a giant, because this is such a tourist industry in this area.
That's right.
And it gives, it keeps the hope alive here in the communities and the lakes that, those genetics are going to stay. And when they do spawn, you're going to have more possibilities of the fry getting up to that age group and that size in 8 or 9 years, correct?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And really where me and several of the guides that are really, practicing the conservation of these bigger fish struggle is, we guide different people every day, and those different people want to keep their limit of fish.
Yeah.
So, outside looking in, it's like, well, he's telling us to conserve fish, but he's keeping a limit or two every day.
Right.
But those fish are going to people that fish 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times a year.
Right.
And if you're going to fish 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times a year, you need to keep them if you like to eat them.
Right.
Whereas somebody that me or you, that we fish, for ourselves a couple times a week, there's no, you can't eat all of them.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that's true.
That's one thing we struggle with is we're saying one thing, but then people see us is kind of doing another thing.
Yeah,
But
it's a yin and yang.
It's not.
Yeah.
So we're not piling them all in our freezer. They're going to multiple different households every day. So.
And when I guide, everybody, most crappie fishermen are good people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No
They got a clear head. They're fairly intelligent. They enjoy the enthusiasm, the sport of it. And sometimes when I guide, I'll say something like, "Oh, that's female. She's about to spawn. Let's let her go. What do you guys say?"
Right.
And there's a slight hesitation, but when the guide usually says it, the people respect it.
Yeah. Once they think about it a little while, and I can tell you with this tagging, once you tag one with them and they say, that's cool. They want to do some more. The more. And that's with anything. If you start catching and releasing crappie, you're gonna like it.
Yeah.
You're gonna want to do it more. You get to go have all the fun without all the work afterwards if you don't need them. I've seen it a bunch of times. People always keeping everything, and you throw a couple back, and they're like, "That's pretty cool."
Yeah. Well, hey, thank you for your time. How can people find out how to contribute to this or find out what lakes have tagged crappie in it? Do you have a website?
Right. Go to the Crappie Forever website. They've got a link to show. I'm not sure if they show every fish. I think they may.
Yeah.
Every fish that's been tagged. But I know they show the returns and the size difference, which we just started last fall tagging their fish, so we're not seeing a huge increase in size yet, but it's coming.
Yeah,
believe me.
And you're putting these tags, these fish tagging guns, in some of the best fishermen on the planet's boats.
Right.
So you're probably getting a pretty high return on tagged fish, are you not?
Right. They're definitely. The more tags we get out there, the more returns we get. And that's the idea. And when B&M and Crappie Magnet stepped up and helped with the reward program, that just allows more people, to tag fish, because tags are expensive. I can tell you from personal experience.
Okay.
It's not cheap to tag fish.
Okay.
And it's not. It's work to keep up with all the data on each fish. You catch a fish and there's 3 more on the screen. You want to catch them. I got to punch this info in on the one I just let go.
Yeah, because it's not just, we're tagging a fish and throwing it back.
Right.
You're taking the information, the measurements, the weight, the time of day, where you caught it. Because
male and female, if you can tell.
I've heard
we're trying to come up with all the all the info we can.
I heard a rumor that somebody caught a fish that you'd tagged, and they caught it 5 miles away. Is that correct?
It's been some more than 5 miles.
Really? Because I never would think a crappie would travel that far.
Well, and on a lake like Grenada that you've got 2 arms, you would think, these fish live over here and these fish live over here.
They're following the shad.
They go wherever they want to go.
Yeah.
I tagged the fish. The biggest mover, I guess, I tagged a fish up by the Graysport Bridge last March, and a fella caught him at the Gomes Bridge up the other arm in May.
Shocking.
You tell me why he came all the way out, swam around, and up there and got caught again.
Shocking. I mean that's just amazing.
You know, we're talking a 2-pound female. You know, I
yeah.
guess she laid out up there and decided she wanted to spend the summer up the other side, you know, but we see them. I mean, they, of course, with the fluctuating water here, you know, they have to come out from up there in the winter. So I think that distributes them back because they're all down in this main lake, and when they go back up the next year, you know, they may go one way or the other. But
so it's become kind of a fun thing, a rewarding thing, an educational thing, a conservational thing. We encourage everybody to go to crappieforever.com, and then also, most importantly, what's the website or the phone number for Patrick Stone Fishing?
For Patrick Stone Fishing, you can call me or text me 662-458-9758, or look me up on Facebook, Patrick Stone Fishing.
Man, thank you so much, Patrick, for your time, for your contribution to the sporting community, and everybody that just so much enjoys fishing for crappie. You're really giving back.
Thank you. Let's get this conservation movement going.
Thank you. Thank you so much for watching Fish, Eat, Live. Our mission is to demonstrate the benefits of the Fish, Eat, Live lifestyle. We look forward to educating, entertaining, and attracting you to the healthy lifestyle of the great outdoors. We're definitely going to have some wholesome family fun on the water every Sunday at 6 p.m. So hit that subscription and that notification bell, because we want you to come be a part of this.